Hello, friends!
Hey, everybody!
Welcome to the home office. We're here today to tell you about some preparations we're going to be making in advance of our next big adventure.
We are going to Beaches, Turks, and Caicos, which, if you do not know, is a Sandals own family all-inclusive resort. We are going to be there for 6 nights, and we're really excited. We have not been to Turks and Caicos yet, and it's going to be a super good time. So definitely stay tuned for all the beaches, sandals, content coming up really soon at that resort because it's going to be awesome.
For today's video, we wanted to kind of detail the process that we're going to need to go through to be able to travel to Turks and Caicos because, of course, we still find ourselves in the world of COVID-19. So there's just a little bit more protocol, a little bit more procedure, and some requirements that we need to check off before we can actually travel there. And now, as we always mention, during these times, you want to check in advance of your own vacation what's current for the time that you're going. So this is what's current at the time of our travel, which is at the beginning of February 2021. But, you know, as always, if you're going to go, check more kind of in advance of your own particular dates to make sure everything is current and up to date and what you need to know.
And that is why we recommend, first thing, when you are thinking that you are going to travel to a specific place, take out your trusty, dusty, super compacty computer and go straight to that country's tourism website, and they will have all the information that you need for what you need to do right now. We are going to go to Turks and Caicos tourism website, and I'll put a link down in the description of how you can get there yourself. It'll have general kind of COVID information. It'll have some frequently asked questions. It'll have contact information in case you have a very specific question and you need to talk to the country or a representative directly. You can also get some general information about what state the country is in at the moment, if there's a lockdown right now, if there's quarantines, if there is a curfew. You can find out all that information here so you know what your vacation is going to look like. And most importantly, when you scroll down, you will finally get to the requirements that you will need to have accomplished for you to travel to Turks and Caicos. And there's 3 main requirements that you must complete before you even step aboard on the plane.
3. Uno, dos, tres. No substitutions, exchanges, or refunds.
What are those 3?
Number 1 is that you must have a negative COVID-19 PCR test. And at this point in time, it is just PCR that they are accepting. So not antigen or at a home rapid test, anything like that. It needs to be, at this point in time, at the time of this video, a negative PCR test from an accredited facility.
Number 2 is that you will need to have acquired travel insurance for your vacation. And not only just for your vacation, but also 14 days after your vacation. The reason being is that because you must then take another COVID test before re-entering the US. In case that comes up positive, you would have to quarantine in Turks and Caicos, in which case you would need travel insurance for 14 more days.
They ain't paying for it.
You have to have your bases covered even in the worst case scenario. But the great thing is, at least for us, because we are traveling to Sandals beaches, is that Sandals are providing that travel insurance into your vacation package. So you don't have to worry about that. But if you are going to someplace else, you may need to acquire an additional travel insurance because in terms of Turks and Caicos, you have to have some kind of medical travel insurance.
Yes, and just to clarify, like we said earlier, you always want to check on what the requirements are at the time of your travel. But in addition to that, the Sandals/Beaches inclusion of the free travel insurance, as Gilderoy Leichhardt said, free of charge.
Yes.
That is a current thing that's set to expire at some point. Now, maybe it gets extended, but don't assume that if you're traveling in a year or 2 that it's going to be included. So you'll need to check the parameters of that either with your travel agents or with Sandals themselves. So that's number 1 and number 2. And then once you have both of those things, you can proceed to number 3, which is travel authorization from Turks and Caicos themselves.
You can click this button right here, and it will take you to the location where you will take care of that travel authorization. So there is a lot of very helpful things on this webpage right before you complete the travel authorization. The first thing that you see is this little graphic that kind of lets you know when you can complete your PCR COVID test before travel. And then also too, if you click here, it will take you to a PCR test guidelines. This will let you know things that must be a part of your COVID test and things that are not accepted with your COVID test. So make sure you read over that and make sure that your facility is offering the correct test.
Speaking of facilities, there's also a handy link here that will put you, basically pops up a little balloon there that then gives you another link to find which labs are accredited in your area, because the test results do need to come from an accredited lab. And in addition to that, there's another link for other facilities, these located in Turks and Caicos, for your return test.
If you are staying at Sandals or Beaches, this re-entry COVID test is once again free of charge to you, and it is done on location, and it is a rapid test, so you will get the results very quickly.
And once again, we do need to clarify though that is a limited time offer. It could be extended, but that is set to expire within a certain point, so you'll want to check obviously before you go.
Definitely. If you are not staying at Sandals or Beaches, you'll need to check with that specific resort to see if they are providing that. If they are not, you will have to take care of those arrangements on your own, in which case you might end up visiting one of these sites in Turks and Caicos where you can complete that.
Now, as we mentioned, Sandals and Beaches is including that travel insurance that's required for the time being, or you need to purchase it on your own. Now, a lot of people would be thinking, oh no, who, where, when, what, why, how? Insurance. I don't know. I don't understand. Luckily, there's a link for that as well. It's TCI suggested insurance plans, and it has a list of their, providers, insurance providers that they would recommend, and then kind of some more information about what you would need.
And then our last requirement is taking care of that travel authorization. You put in your email and you follow the instructions. Now, we cannot do that yet because we have not completed those other things yet. I guess technically we haven't completed the insurance because we're staying at Sandals and Beaches. So the next thing we'll need to do is get our COVID test scheduled. We can't do that yet because we need to wait just right before that 5 days so we can schedule it and then complete our COVID test 5 days prior to travel. So we will see you then to schedule our COVID test. What's up next on Hoffman's Getting Ready for Turks and Caicos?
We have to get tested. We need to get scheduled for a test. Now, our preferred vendor for COVID-19 testing is Walgreens. This is who we used before when we went to Jamaica for Sandals Royal Plantation. So we're very familiar with this process. We showed how to do it before when we went there, but we're going to show how to do it again.
And actually, last time we didn't even film this process of signing up for it. We only filmed us getting the test.
Oh.
So this actually is new.
So here we are. You just go to walgreens.com. Boom, right in your face. Drive-through COVID-19 testing. So we're going to click that. So you see here, no cost COVID-19 testing for ages 3 and up, depending on health insurance and things like that. So you're going to put in your location, obviously, to search and find which ones are available to you. Now, they're going to show you that there's different kinds of tests that are available, but we are going for the PCR test here. And it'll show you the different locations that are available to you. So then you scroll down and you see how the COVID-19 testing process works. You can just read through that. It's information we already understand and we'll be showing you more in depth. So we're just going to go ahead and click Get Started. Now you have to agree to the terms and conditions, of course, that you're 18 years or older or you're the parent or legal guardian, blah, blah, blah. There's a couple of exceptions there. You're not experiencing severe symptoms and you acknowledge all this information, the privacy stuff. So you just hit accept and then you're going to scroll down and, it's basic terms and conditions stuff, right? Now I already registered Chelsy for her testing appointment. I'm going to go ahead and register for mine. Now, just to clarify, we each have to choose a time. Now, at our specific store, they're spaced out 15 minutes apart. When we went the last time, though, we obviously went in the same vehicle. They just gave us our test at the exact same time.
Definitely recommend going early in the morning because if you go early in the morning, it can get to the lab that day. It can get to the lab earlier, so you're kind of like not wasting one of your days. Like we only have 5 days before we travel to Turks and Caicos to get this done. So if you go in the evening, you're kind of wasting one of your 5 days to where you could have gotten it back quicker. if that makes sense.
Obviously, you're going to put in your patient information here. So this is just my information, and then contact information so they know how to get a hold of you. You're going to provide an email address. That's what they're going to use to send you your appointment confirmation as well as test result notification. If you have a COVID-19 test voucher from your physician or some other medical entity, you can put that in here. Otherwise, you can just hit continue. Next thing that's going to come up, you have to fill out a COVID-19 test questionnaire. It's pretty straightforward, pretty basic. It's going to ask you, do you have any of these symptoms, which we have none. In the last 14 days, have you been in contact with anyone in close contact that may have had COVID-19 or who has been tested positive? We have not. And then in the last 2 weeks, have you been in contact with someone who is sick but not diagnosed with COVID-19? And as far as we know, we have not. In the last 2 weeks, have you had any of the following exposures? International travel, or you live in or have visited an area where there's been a community spread of COVID-19?
Isn't that the situation we've been dealing with for the last year?
I guess they mean like a very concentrated effort. We have not. And do any of the following describe your work setting? Like you work in a healthcare facility or you're a first responder? We are not. I know when we did this last time, some people asked about like, well, what if when we did like travel authorization for Jamaica, they asked similar questions, and people were asking like, well, what if you are a first responder, a healthcare worker? Does that prevent? Honestly, we don't know. You just need to put in your information as it pertains to you, and they will give you the necessary information. That is their call, their discretion. This information is going to help guide you along the way. So again, both for your testing and testing requirements, and then for any travel authorizations you might be doing for the destination you're going to.
Just answer with your truest heart.
That's it. So then it's going to ask if you have any of the following conditions. Some are like pre-existing, some are just things that might be happening because of illness. We don't have any. And are you currently pregnant? Yes, no, or it does not apply to me. And then it's going to come up and say, which this is the funny part. After saying no to all of those things, it says, testing recommended. It's recommended that I get tested, even though I didn't have any of that stuff. So you're going to click request appointment, and then that's going to bring up your map. Now here's where you're going to choose the store that you want to use, and then scroll down, and it's going to have the different dates. So they do this, at least for us, on a 3-day kind of rolling window.
For Walgreens.
So today is January 31st. And so as we can see here, our options for testing are tomorrow, February 1st, Tuesday, February 2nd, Groundhog Day, and Wednesday, February 3rd.
So we're getting our COVID test on Groundhog Day?
We are.
Oh, yeah, that's not something I want to relive forever.
Now, just to mention that if we're going to Turks and Caicos, you have that 5-day window from the time of your arrival. So the way that they calculate that, we have confirmed this by calling them, emailing them, and doing a check on the website. Because, it's like, does the day you go, does that count as one? Is it the day before?
It's hard to realize where you start counting and where you end counting. Like, yes. Is your travel day part of the count? Is your COVID test day part of the count?
Because we want to go, obviously, as far out as possible.
Yeah.
So we have enough time to get our results back. So we are arriving in Turks and Caicos on February 7th. Mm-hmm. So our first available testing date is the 2nd. So that is the 5. I already chose 9:30 a.m. for Chelsy. So I click 9:45. I click continue. And now we have a countdown here that it's holding the appointment for 15 minutes. It's counting down as we go here. This location requires you to enter insurance information to schedule a COVID-19 test. Now, if you don't have insurance, you must provide a driver's license or state ID number. And we're going to click request appointment. Now, what's going to come up here is this big green rectangle. It says a lab order will be requested for your test. Once it is approved, a confirmation of your appointment will be sent to the email you provided. Plan to bring state or federal government issued ID and your confirmation email to check in for your appointment. And then right below that, in big, capital, bold letters, this is not an appointment confirmation. Please do not go to the testing location until you receive your appointment confirmation email. So I think last time it maybe took a few hours. And in less than 10 minutes, I received this here email saying that I was scheduled for my COVID test. So now we're good to go. Ready to go get swabbed.
See you in a couple days. What day is it today? It's testing day!
And what other day is it today?
Tuesday.
And Groundhog's Day!
Oh, that's right. Puxatawny Phil, that troublesome little rodent?
Probably.
I'm not sure.
Probably rodent.
6 more weeks of winter.
Is that what he said?
That's what he said.
Excellent. That is what we're doing today. COVID test day. We won't get our results today. We'll get those in a couple days, hopefully. And yeah, we'll show you us swabbing our nose again.
Yikes.
Pulling into Walgreens for our COVID test, because they only do it in the drive-thru.
Who are these people?
We are, however, 1 minute early. So I guess maybe they'll finish in 1 minute and then it'll be our turn. Also too, which we're about to show you, at least at Walgreens, you do stay in your car the entire time. The pharmacist will hand you the test through the window and then you administer it yourself. So we'll show you what that process is if you didn't already see our Jamaica video, but
it's
yeah,
pretty straightforward. They walk you through it.
Me and Matt were actually just talking about like how less stressful it is doing it for a second time. Not that it was stressful the first time, but it was very unknown. Like, oh, what do we do? Did my swabbing right? I swear I swabbed up to my brain last time because I wanted to make sure I did a correct swab. But now it's like, oh, I know how this goes. This is, I know what to expect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Order up.
You each have your own separate bag with testing supplies. Make sure you have the correct bag. Inside is a test tube. It's going to have your name and date of birth on it. Make sure that everything is correct on there.
Okay.
We're going to ace this test.
This one's mine and this one's yours.
Okay, thank you.
Let me open it up.
Just think of it as a little bag of goodies. Goodies that allow you to travel. We check the stuff on the tube, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's me.
It's me?
That's me. Cool.
You're going to open the swab.
Okay.
You're going to pull it apart kind of like a Band-Aid or a cheese stick. Make sure to not touch the cotton part because that's going to go inside the nostril. It's going to go half an inch in. It's not going to go all the way up. It's just going to go half an inch until the cotton disappears. You're going to do big circles around the nostril, touching all your sides for about 15 seconds, and you're going to do it on both sides.
Okay.
Okay. Grab your stick. Do not touch the swab. You just stick it into where the cotton disappears.
About 15 seconds.
And you do it all the way around.
I don't like this.
I know. So I open.
Yeah, screw it open. And this goes cotton in.
Okay.
And then I need to break off this part.
Oh, is that new?
Yeah.
Cool.
And
Okay.
screw it back on.
All right, little buddy, don't fail us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Good luck, little buddies.
And that's that. It's that easy.
Yeah, it is really easy.
I mean, the worst part is just it feels weird. Put something in your nose like that.
And that you have to wait. She said 2 to 5 days. I feel like it used to be 2 to 3 days. Was it 2 to 5? Well, hopefully it's 2 again. Because we leave in 5 days. It needs to be sooner than 5. It does. You know, it's out of our hands now.
Literally, it's in a bag in a drawer. Actually, she took it out of the drawer. It's in her hands.
We'll let you know what the fates decide. Hopefully in 2 days.
That would be nice.
3 would be okay. 4 is dangerous. 5, oh no. Hopefully 2 days, we'll be talking to you.
It's negative.
Excellent.
These are the official test results.
I wish Walgreens gave us the news that way. Okay, now in all seriousness now, we got our COVID results insanely fast. We got them the next day,
which is great. I didn't even know that happened. I definitely wouldn't expect that. Do it as early as possible, just to give you as much time as necessary. But, you know, check your email pretty often, because you never know, you might get it earlier than you're expecting. So, yay!
Next thing is to obtain our travel authorization.
What the what? What is a travel authorization? Basically, it's just a bunch of questions to find out if you are suitable to travel to their country or not.
So we're going to be uploading some documents, including that negative PCR test for COVID that we obtained our results from. So you'll want to make sure you have to have that. So you want to make sure you get that first, as well as having travel insurance that covers your stay and plus some, as we're going to see here in just a second. They will remind us of that. Now we're going to show you how to do said travel authorization form right here on the internet. Have you ever heard of that?
Is it a type of cheese?
Yes.
Oh, it's delicious.
All right, so we're here at Turks and Caicos Tourism, and as it pops up right here, can't miss it, travel authorization is now required. So we're going to click apply for your travel authorization here. I've already done Chelsea's. You can see her information here. Oh, approved!
I'm approved!
That wasn't the case just a second ago.
He just did it like 10 minutes ago, so that was really quick.
That was really quick. So we'll show you what it looks like until you get approved. All right, so we're gonna come right up here to apply for TCI travel authorization, and this is where you put in your email address. So I am going to do such. You're gonna click request OTP, which is one-time password, and you're supposed to agree to the privacy policy first.
Don't forget.
Don't forget, and then now you request that one-time password. It's going to send it to your email, as you see here, and sent to the given email address, and the timer starts counting down. Enter that code, log in. There. Ooh, shark.
Nice.
I love when they do websites fun. Well, we're gonna scroll down below the shark and the scuba diver and the fish here. Are you a resident of Turks and Caicos? And then I'm completing this form for myself, but if you're a parent or guardian, everyone needs a form, even infants. So of course, if you're a parent or guardian or something like that, you would click you're filling it in for someone else. And then you put in all your personal information here. So I'm going to do that now.
Type.
Oh, while I'm type, we should point out that this needs to match your passport. So I would not put Matt, I would put Matthew, because that's what's listed on my documents. After the personal information, you do put in your passport information. So again, everything needs to match up. Make sure definitely that you got that put in there correctly. So here you're gonna click on your intended date of arrival to Turks and Caicos. And as you see, there's only a certain window that you can do this within the 5 days of your intended arrival. So we're gonna click on the 7th because that's when we are arriving. You need to put any countries that you've traveled from or through in the last 6 weeks, which we have not been anywhere except here in the US of A. So that's all we're gonna put. Do you qualify for any exemption? Honestly, I have no idea what that exemption would be, so I would say no, we don't qualify for that. No. But I'm thinking if you did, you would know what it is, and then you could put the information as such. We're coming by air, unfortunately not by sea at this time, but
one day we will.
And then you put where you're arriving from, which country you're coming from. What's your purpose here, Mr. Smith? So most people watching this video are probably going to click vacation, but there are other options that could apply. All right, so here is part number 2, health status. Of course, this is going to ask if you have any symptoms of illness. You need to confirm that you have been tested for COVID-19 and have negative test results. And so now I'm going to put in that information, where I had this test taken, where was the specimen collected, and then upload the negative test result. So again, you have to have that in hand before you can proceed with this form. So we're going to do that now. Now you need to answer some more questions like, have you been in a healthcare facility for persons who may have had COVID-19 within the last 14 days? No. Did you provide care for patients? No. Have you knowingly been in contact or close proximity with anyone confirmed to have tested for COVID or suspected to have it? Also no. Now, this part is very important and it's a little confusing, but we have received clarification on this. We'll pass it along to you. You'll see here, question number 6, do you have valid health insurance which covers COVID-19? And then it says policy and insurance company name. Based on that verbiage, you would think that it's talking about your normal life, day-to-day health insurance.
Yeah.
It is not.
Right.
It's not talking about that. As we mentioned, you need to have travel insurance to go to Turks and Caicos at this time, and that travel insurance needs to include medical. This is what that is referring to.
Yeah.
So this is the part that you put in your travel insurance information and upload like a policy certificate kind of thing. And then once you see the name there, you're good. It goes very quick. You can click next. Get the fun little colorful loading symbol once again. And we're moving on to the next section. Now, this part's pretty quick, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Intended stay of information. So length of stay in days. So we are staying 6 nights at Beaches, Turks and Caicos. So we will put
7 days.
7 days. 1 week. It's been 1 week since you went to Beaches, Turks and Caicos. Hotel. And of course, that hotel is Beaches, Turks and Caicos. And once you have that in, click next to continue. Now, this is the last part. Step number 4. This is consent, so you need to acknowledge the travel costs that you may incur if you fall ill or there needs to be some other kind of care or travel, different things like that. You need to read over this, make sure you're good with all these different things. There's a health screening when you arrive, a risk assessment. You're not, at this time, not given another test upon arrival, but they will probably take your temperature and, you know, ask you some questions.
And if you have a high temperature or, you know, if your screening, like, maybe doesn't go swimmingly, maybe they might administer you a COVID. They have the right to do that, to give you another test if they so choose. So
Absolutely.
You're just accepting to those terms.
So, and then come down under here, and you also have to acknowledge that you could be quarantined if you do test positive while you're there at the island. So, and you need to have cost of treatment covered. Of course, your insurance should be covering that, but you just need to confirm that you're willing to consent to all of these things, the governing laws and regulations, who goes over all that stuff. And then consent, yes or no. Pretty sure if you hit no, they're going to say no. So
basically, an overview is if you're going to travel internationally right now, you have to be willing to be flexible.
That's it.
Kind of. That's just the deal right now.
So the last part is the certification. I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. That you agree to everything that you put in is true to the best of your knowledge. And then you click the orange button, submit. It's going to come up right here. So you'll have that as well, submitted at. And now this is what it looks like right when you complete. Pending. But as we said with Chelsy's earlier, it was maybe 10 minutes and it switched to approved.
So we turned the camera off, took the camera down, and then Matt got approved.
It was like that on the dashboard that we showed you a minute ago. Now there's this, see, it's approved, and there's this blue like download action thing. And when you click that, it's going to bring up your travel authorization, say that you're approved, you can go. In red letters, though, you must present a copy of your negative COVID PCR test result prior to boarding an airline. It should be either hard copy or soft copy. Must be presented for each passenger, so you can have it digital. We look forward to welcoming you to the Turks and Caicos Island.
Yay.
That's it. That's all the steps.
That is the process. That is, if you are prepping to travel internationally, specifically to Turks and Caicos
at this time,
that is what it looks like.
So that's the process from beginning to end. So hopefully you found this video helpful, informative if you're planning to travel to Turks and Caicos at this time. It also kind of gives you an idea of just traveling internationally in general right now. Hopefully you're ready to have some fun. Get your travel on.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, you want to head to Sandals, you want to head to beaches with the whole family like we're doing, going to Turks and Caicos, we'd be happy to make that happen for you. It is Hoffman Happy Travels. That's what it means. We're happy to help you travel. So feel free to reach out via the travel agent information that you can find in the description of this video. We're going to go pack. We're going to head to the airport here coming up soon. It's time to go have fun. Stay tuned for our Beaches, Turks and Caicos playlist. We will have a ton of content coming your way from that location. So we're going to sign off. We'll see you in Turks and Caicos at Beaches. But until then, happy travels!